Pentagon. Jen, great reporting as always. Thank you. Let's bring in former U.S. Army Special Forces Green Beret who trained with IDF, Derrick Anderson. Derrick, I just want your initial thoughts. Again, we're looking in this new video coming in. These are explosions over the southern part of Iran. Iran, of course, is claiming that they knocked down this drone or these drones that Israel sent in. Iran's way of possibly claiming victory, we don't know. We don't know how much damage or if any was done. We do not believe that Natanz nuclear facility was hit. So we don't really have a lot of information except that Israel appears to have retaliated, and Iran is claiming that it knocked that retaliation down. What do you believe is going on here?
Yeah, Trey. So, I mean, you have to really understand this. This is no surprise, right? We saw Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's made statements over the last several days that have been pretty strong. He said that they were going to respond. But if we take a step back and look at where we got to here, right? Well, we look at October 7th. We look at Hamas in Gaza coming across the line into Israel, taking hostages, hundreds of hostages, and killing and murdering and doing horrendous things to Israelis, right? And then you fast forward, and we look at over the last several months, we've seen hundreds of attacks on our military, United States military installations across the region, whether it be in Syria, Iraq, or what have you. Fast forward, then we see Israel conduct the attack in Syria on the embassy, killing some of the Iranian military officials. And then just this past weekend, Iran conducting their attack with the 300-plus missiles and drones. If you look at it, it seems like it's slowly escalating up a little bit. But this response by Israel going into Iran, and again, to your reporting, Trey, we don't know whether or not those were aerial, unmanned aircraft or what have you. But it seems as if it was somewhat of a tit for tat. However, if I were Israel and I did want to escalate, I would go after the nuclear facilities. That would be a boot on the throat of Iran, considering the fact, in my opinion, I think Israel probably's largest threat in the region is Iran's nuclear capability. Now, granted, hearing some of the folks that have been speaking recently, it doesn't seem necessarily that is what happened. Now, granted, Israel could have done some more softer attacks, whether it be on military installations, military depots, things of that nature, just to kind of give Iran the warning to say, hey, we will retaliate, we will come back at you if you attack us. And I think there's something to be said here, though. When I just talked about how this timeline of events has gone on, where it's gone a little bit more aggression here and there, I think we have to seriously take a look at the fact that this is what happens when you have weak and feckless and indecisive leaders. The Biden administration has been a day late and a dollar short on many of the reactions to whether it's October 7th, whether it's the attack on our military installations within Syria in the Middle East. We've seen it over and over again. And in fact, I think that's what emboldened Iran to do what they did this past weekend, where they sent those 300 missiles. The one concern I am interested to see, and we were just talking about what Iran's rhetoric is versus what they actually are going to do. What I'm curious is whether or not the rhetoric is actually going to transcribe within the region where our service members, United States service members, are potentially going to be attacked from some of these Iranian proxy groups as a response.
And I wonder, Derrick, if you look at this whole thing in the totality, if you think maybe because you had Israel, as Jennifer Griffin was kind of describing for us, launch this limited attack, what she's calling it, is there this sense that maybe Israel was letting Iran off the hook, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a scenario where Israel said we have to respond. At the current state of how things are going within the region, look, you mentioned it at the top, Trace. Right now, we have Israel. They are within the hornet's nest. They have to have eyes in the back of their heads because they're in the middle of a region that does not want them there. So this could be a situation where Israel said, we're going to retaliate. And you mentioned just briefly earlier that there seems to be some sort of notification that was given to the White House. So there must have been some sort of discussion as to whether or not whatever attack that they were going to conduct in Iran, whether it be too much or too little, or somewhere in that sweet spot. So there could be this situation where Israel said, hey, we're going to attack X, Y, and Z, whether it be military installations, depots. The United States government said, go ahead, we agree with you. And then it was in some sort of agreement that they did this so that it wouldn't make Iran feel as if they needed to retaliate again. And again, we just talked about it a few minutes ago. It seems as if Iran's rhetoric already is that they took care of the situation. Their nuclear facilities are safe. There are some explosions, but we combated Israel's attack.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. Derrick, we'll get back to you. Please stand by for us. I want to get to the White House. Let's bring in the news national correspondent, Griff Jenkins. He's live for us at